We're ready? All right. Good evening, everyone. Certainly good to see all of you, and want to welcome you to the Vinton Town Council meeting for this Tuesday, July the 2nd. If you would, please call the roll.
Councilmember Lyles.
Here.
Councilmember McCarty.
Here.
Councilmember Mullins.
Here.
Vice Mayor Stovall.
Here.
Mayor Gross.
Here. Thank you. Good to see everyone here, right? We've had a lot of folks traveling this year, so it's good to have all the team back. Here in the town of Vinton, we use the moment of silence. This gives everyone an opportunity to pray or worship as they see fit. If you use that time for prayer, certainly hope you will. I plan to. I would ask you to keep this country, this community, and this council meeting in your thoughts and prayers. So we'll ask you to stand for that, and while we're standing, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, and Councilmember Lyles is in charge of that. You're going to do it this evening, right?
I sure will.
All right. Thank you.
Please face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
Indivisible.
All right. Again, thank you folks for being here. And we'll get our meeting started with a list of community events and announcements. And Councilmember McCarty always handles that for us.
Good. We have lots going on. On July the 4th, we have 4 on the 4th race in the morning at 8 a.m. At the War Memorial, and program will begin at 7 p.m. July the 4th and 5th town offices will be closed in observance of Independence Day. July the 10th, there is a lunch and learn with Member One at the Charles Hill Center building from 12 to 1. July the 13th is Mingle at the Market. That's from 7 to 10 at the Vinton Farmers Market. July the 27th is also the Mingle at the Market, and that as well as 7 to 10 at the Vinton Farmers Market. July the 6th is the first Saturday event at the Vinton History Museum, and there will be an open house and watermelon social. And August the 6th will be National Night Out at 6 p.m. at the War Memorial. That's always a fun night for everybody that comes. Lots of activities for everyone, but a lot of cool things going on for the kiddos, so bring those out. That's all I have. We do encourage you to visit one of the many restaurants and entertainment venues in our community. And for more information of these venues and restaurants, you can visit their website or go onto social media. And for more information on everything happening in Vinton, please visit the In Vinton Facebook page, and don't forget to like and share.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Lots going on in Vinton, as always. All right, with that, we'll move to the council activities. Councilmember Wallens.
Yes, sir. I just have a couple. June the 20th, Councilmember Lyles attended the 2050 Comprehensive Plan Advisory Committee meeting. On June 27th, Mayor Gross attended the Roanoke Valley Allegheny Regional Commission meeting. And also the same day, Vice Mayor Stovall attended the Roanoke Valley Transportation Planning Organization meeting.
Okay.
Short and sweet this time.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. All right. Next item is request to postpone or change the order of the agenda as they're listed. Council or staff? Anyone? Nope. All right. Hearing no changes, we'll move on to the consent agenda. And tonight, the consent agenda contains the minutes of our regular meeting of June the 18th. Are there any changes or additions? Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. All right, we move on to the fun part of the evening, my favorite part, and that's our awards and introductions. And we'll start with Anita. She's going to talk about the National Association of Counties Award, Achievement Award.
Good evening, Mayor Gross and Vice Mayor Stovall. I am so pleased to present to you Roanoke County ComIT GIS team. Every year, Roanoke County submitted the National Association of Counties Award, Achievement Award. This year, they won 3 awards, and one of the award is for the Town of Vinton Stormwater Outfall Management Application Program. The ComIT, the GIS team created this program so our field personnel, Viola and Kenny Sled, doesn't have to use the paper, so they just go out there and everything entered to the GIS application. It make it more efficient and for the town and for the county to help us. As always, the county has always been helpful, not just with the planning, with the building division, but the GIS team. Anytime we need help, they're always there for us. And every time a consultant need help with GIS data, they're always there for us. So I just like to recognize Roanoke County GIS team and also the new IT director, Uma. I'm sorry, your last name, Marcus, and David Ray, the GIS manager, Tracy Lee, the GIS analyst 2, Darren Jones, GIS analyst 2, Carl Nixon, Kelly Dooley. So they all are here, and of course, Kenny and Viola are also here. So I would like them to be recognized for their achievement for their work, for the county to receive the award, and for the town application regarding stormwater.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. We all know, those of us that are involved, how closely the county and the town work together. It's not often that we actually get to recognize that. So I'm really excited this evening to be able to present this achievement award and just thank all the folks from the county. We certainly appreciate everything you guys and ladies do, and I'm just really, really happy that we can have this opportunity to recognize how closely the town and the county work together. And I think Debbie would probably like to have a picture of all of us. So if you guys want to come up front, I'll give this to you. And if you guys want to come up front so Debbie can get a picture, we'd appreciate it. Let me say one last thing. I love this award. It has on there a quote from Helen Keller that says, "Optimism is the faith that leads to achievement." You guys have achieved a lot, so obviously you're optimistic people. I love optimistic people.
Thank you, Mayor Gross. David Ray, do you want to say something?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Thank you for inviting us down here. Our team, the county, we enjoy partnering and collaborating with the town of Vinton. And so being a local boy, graduating from William Byrd, it's good, good to come back home a little bit. So, but I appreciate it and look forward to partnering with you in the town in the future. So thank you.
Great. Thank you, sir. You guys want to come up for the picture? Or no? So you guys may pick up on it. Are you part of this group too?
Yeah.
And Anita? Yeah.
Some people come up.
Go ahead. Some people come up here.
Pick up on the
Bye.
one place you don't want to be is between the mayor and the camera. You know? Dangerous area. So let me present this to you guys, okay? How about that?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
You bet you. I'll give this to you, okay?
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly.
And I'm going to give this to her.
All right. Got to put her into that.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you folks so much. Okay, we have another award tonight, Mr. Town Manager. I believe you got the information on that one, right?
Yes, I'm probably not going to do as much justice as some. I'm not one with great with words,
Oh.
but I'd like to recognize Amanda, Caroline, and Shay. If you ladies could stand just for a moment. And I'll recognize Mandy and Rachel here in a moment. I purposely want these three ladies to stand because it is a very difficult task operating the Vinton Moore Memorial and the Community Center and the Farmers Market and assisting with the History Museum. We normally do that with a staff of 5, but in the past year we had several vacancies. One dating back to a year ago in June. Amanda was also out on maternity leave, and then we had another vacancy develop in the fall. So these three ladies have done a wonderful job to keep that operation working. And we had a record year to boot. So the fact that we were short-staffed, we had some an extremely busy schedule. So I just want to recognize these three ladies for all you've done to contribute, and thank you for the work you've done for the town and sticking with us through some difficult times. And then I'd like to introduce, and y'all stay.
Yeah, maybe we'll get them come up front.
If I could have our 2 newest employees of that division, Rachel and Mandy. They joined us in April. I'm sorry if I'm getting that wrong, but they joined us in April. So they've been with us for a couple of months now, and they've done wonderful work for us as well. So the reason why we're recognizing these ladies tonight is the Vinton Moore Memorial was recognized in the Roanoke Magazine 2024 as Best of in Service again. This was a Silver Award winner, if I'm not mistaken. So we'd just like to take a moment and give council an opportunity, but certainly take a moment to recognize the work that these ladies do day in and day out. And it is not a 9-to-5 job. This is Monday through Sunday. This is not quite 24 hours, but I know it feels like it sometimes. It's an office job in some days. It is a customer service job some days. It's flipping tables and doing laundry other days, and so it's everything under the sun. And so just appreciate very much what you guys do, and I believe the mayor would like to present you with a certificate and take a photo with you as well. So,
Yes.
Council, if you'd like to say anything else.
Yes, you bet. And guys, I apologize for not giving y'all an opportunity to speak before they've already left, but I will give you an opportunity to say something to these folks. Let me read what's on this certificate. It's proudly presented to Community Programs Department in honor of their hard work and dedication for receiving the Roanoke's Best of the Roanoke 2024 Best in Service Award for the Vinton Moore Memorial. So congratulations and thank you for your hard work. Council, y'all want to say a few words?
Yeah, this will resonate throughout the valley, and people will tell us how great the War Memorial is. However, we didn't do it. Y'all did. Absolutely. Y'all the ones out there every day. Y'all the ones when something might not go right. Y'all the ones when somebody may be a little bit too picky for something at the War Memorial. However, y'all have given it to gas for us, and you've won this award. And as one council member, I'm definitely proud of you, and congratulations.
Me too. What a great team. Thank you, guys. We only see a lot of times the finished product and the fun stuff, so I really appreciate the behind the scenes and the hard work and dedication.
I've gotten to know a couple of you through a course that we were doing together, and really got to know you and appreciate what you did through that. And I know that you do a very good job at the War Memorial. Others I've served on committees with and gotten to know. So thank you for everything that you do. I know that anytime you're in charge of trying to put on a party or a wedding or whatever, you got a lot of personalities and a lot of, sometimes it's the bridezilla, but sometimes it's the groomzilla. We've had that too. So, but anyway, thank you for everything that you do and for always just doing your very best and making us look good.
Yeah, I'll echo the thank yous. To have a record year with a short staff, the War Memorial has operated in the red for quite a number of years, and to have a record year and to show a profit with short-staffed is truly amazing. So hats off to you guys. Keep up the good work. And, you don't have nothing to do next year. We're going to close it down keep going this year.
Still keep up with you. Some personal experience, I know how hard they work and what a great job they do. I recently spilled a whole bunch of lemonade.
Oh, no. Take you nowhere.
So thank you for all you do. If you folks would like to come up with it. Man, I'm into this. Yeah. Who's gonna?
I'm gonna get up next to you.
All right, thank you.
Thank
you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good job, ladies.
We'll give this to you, maybe. Let's see. Wow, we got any more awards? I guess not, although we do have a introduction tonight, Chief.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council, town staff, and all the community behind me. I'd like to welcome everyone here. Appreciate the opportunity to introduce one of our newest members that brings us back to fully staffed agency. I'd like to invite Deputy Chief Lawless and Lieutenant Hurd up here. And I'd also like to invite Officer Y. Cobbler up here. Depends on your right. If you hear the kids, they're Wyatts. Yeah.
All right, we
That's
love
Willow and Olivia.
We do.
Bring them in here.
Bring them on.
So this is Y. Cobbler. He's the newest addition to our team, and we're very blessed to have him. He is from the Roanoke area, grew up in Roanoke County, attended Northside High School, where he graduated in 2008. Continued his educational career at Virginia Western Community College for 2 years, and then transferred over to Radford University, where he obtained a Bachelor's of Science in Criminal Justice in 2013. From then on, in 2014, he joined the Roanoke City Police Department, where he learned a great deal, of course, and acquired many skills, and some of those were as a patrol officer. 3 years before transitioning to that, he was what's known as a community response team, a CRT team in Roanoke City. And on this team, he became very effective at policing at a street level interdiction capacity, while also focusing on violent crime and offenders. After a few years of serving at CRT team, he transitioned over to a gang unit. And from the gang unit, it was something that he and another officer structured themselves. So he brought it to inception in Roanoke City, along with his teammates of the CRT team. So in the gang unit, he began to see a correlation in the policing he was doing and how frequently he was dealing with things like local gang members. While being involved with the gang unit, he was able to have over 200 local gang members officially entered into VCIN, which is the Virginia Criminal Information Network. Away from police work, he enjoys spending time with his family, Chelsea, his wife, going to the gym if you can't tell, and of course, home projects. I don't know if he loves that or is that something we adopt as dads. Of course, the two young ladies you heard, Willow and Olive, there's two beautiful daughters. And we're very blessed to have a 10-year officer come here. Well, I can't think how ecstatic I am when I first met Wyatt and he chose to sign on with us. And as you mentioned, Councilmember Lyles, the best police department this side of the Pacific.
That's right.
So again, Officer Cobbler. You can go up there and shake their hand, sir.
Hey, welcome. Thanks for choosing us.
Welcome, sir. Thank you for being here.
Welcome. Glad to have you.
Welcome, all right.
Bring your family in here when we get the picture made. We'll be all right.
Right here. There you go. No. That's you.
Well, before you get away, we just want to welcome. We just want to take this opportunity to welcome you to the town of Vinton on behalf of council. I'll give you guys a chance to comment if you'd like, but certainly want to welcome you. Glad to have you aboard, and you and your beautiful family. I think you're going to fit here in Vinton real well. And Chief, if I might mention to you and your staff, I think it speaks quite highly of you folks, the fact that we are a full staff, I think you said, and a lot of departments are struggling, and I think that says a lot about your leadership. So thank you guys, the entire department, for what you're doing. You guys do a great job. Very proud of the fact that they are a fully accredited police department, so they do an awesome job. Councilor, y'all want to say anything further?
Welcome. We're just happy to have you here.
Absolutely. Welcome.
Welcome to the family.
Yep. Thanks for being here. And it does speak a lot about the town to come from a big police department with all the opportunity that the city has, and to choose a smaller police department. But like Chief said, you chose the best one around.
There you go.
And I think we did too. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In Bristol Cinema.
They're cute.
That was cute.
All right. With that, we'll move on to our next item, which is citizens' comments and petitions. This section is reserved for comments and questions that are not listed on the agenda. And I might remind you, there is a list of procedures to follow that were available. I assume you have a copy of that, and I would remind you to please keep your remarks to 3 minutes. I do have an opening statement I'd like to make that's very similar to the one I gave at our last council meeting. As with our June 18th council meeting, I suspect that many of you are here to discuss the recent property acquisition on 3rd Street by an organization that has listed its business as Women's Health Care. As you know, it has been rumored that abortions will be performed at this location. The town of Vinton did not recruit this business in question, and we were not aware of the possible intention to perform abortions at this site until just a few days before the last council meeting. Personally, I oppose abortion. With help from our staff and attorney, this council is actively investigating our options provided by law. Currently, medical clinics are permitted as a matter of right in this zoning district. As I have stated before, given the recent U.S. Supreme Court ruling, abortion has become an issue of state law. Abortion remains legal in Virginia, while some of our neighboring states have taken steps to restrict abortion. This has resulted in Virginia becoming a destination for some seeking out these services. And with that, anyone who'd like to speak is certainly welcome. I think you have a list. And there again, I'll remind you, 3 minutes, please.
The first person I have up is Philip Bushy.
Please give our name, rank, and serial number again.
He was here last time, but if you would like him to repeat it, he can.
Okay, so they should give it again, please, sir.
Yes. My name is Philip C. Bushy III. I'm at 183 Sanderson Ridge Court, Roanoke, Virginia, 24019. Mayor, Vice Mayor, members, and all in attendance, thank you for this time tonight to further explain Love Life's role with the upcoming opening of the abortion clinic in Vinton. Again, Love Life is a national prayer-based organization founded in Charlotte in 2016. We offer to life-choosing women direct support during their pregnancy through one-on-one mentorship, House of Refuge assistance, abusive relationship guidance, post-abortive restoration services, and even adoption services. Our mission statement is that Love Life's ministry is to unite the church, to become actively present, to stand against abortion, and thus solve the orphan crisis. Love Life Roanoke has been active since spring of 2021. I stand here in my sidewalk canceling shirt representing Love Life Roanoke via Faith Alliance Church. This year already 43 area churches have joined Love Life, and their congregants are actively getting trained to populate the various ministry roles that we offer. Our goal is to have a prayer presence, a sidewalk counseling team present out front of each abortion facility every hour that they receive clients. All Love Life counselors are trained and have signed a code of conduct before they serve fully on the street. We actively align in Roanoke with Blue Ridge Women's Center. Now that our area has become the late-term abortion destination of southeastern United States, we can follow life-choosing moms back to their homes with a local Love Life support presence. As mentioned before, Texas to Pennsylvania, Florida to Maryland are all the coordinates for late-term abortion-seeking folks. As mentioned before, Love Life differentiates itself in demeanor, conduct, and care for all persons arriving and leaving these facilities. The only message we preach is that Jesus loves you, and life is precious to him and from him. Even after an abortion is executed, Jesus loves that abortive mom, and Love Life stands ready to help her heal spiritually and provide restoration services. Due to the easement conditions at this 935 3rd Street property, I request we meet with Vinton Police to define a safe, effective standing area for our Love Life sidewalk counselors to set up and to be accessible to incoming cars. Thank you. Good timing.
Thank you, sir. Right on time.
The next person I have is Ann Russell.
Hi, I'm Ann Thurston Russell. I live at 342 Stonebridge Drive here in Vinton. Good evening. I'd like to speak to you all about the Summit Medical Center, the proposed abortion facility coming to our quiet community. This is a business that can easily become disruptive to everything we hold dear about living here. To prevent this, I propose the following questions that council should consider and try to answer quickly. Do neighboring businesses know that Summit Medical Center will be performing abortions? Are they prepared to handle the disruption this may bring to their everyday functioning, including the presence of ambulances coming and going due to possible emergencies when an abortion surgery goes wrong? How will they handle it when a woman experiencing complications from an abortion shows up on their doorstep on the way this center will attract unwanted attention to our community? Does anyone on council know if Summit Medical Center will offer surgical abortions as well as chemical abortions? How late in pregnancy will they be performed? What plans have been made for the disposal of human remains that will be created by this facility? I know it's an ugly question, but it's one that is reality, and it's a reality of having a clinic in our midst. Something of major concern that must be addressed is the proximity of this facility to major highways in our area that have become corridors for sex traffickers in Virginia. Questionable activity at other facilities near Vinton involve vans arriving with multiple young women inside who have been dropped off at an abortion clinic. Does Vinton want to encourage or be a part of such activity? I'm sure not. Has the council put in place protective measures that will ensure the safety of our children if traffickers are lingering in this town while their victims are in this new facility? Our community must not be naive about the consequences of bringing such a facility into our midst and make the decision. We do not want this on our hands. Will this happen in our quiet town of Vinton on our watch? The bottom line is that we, the residents of Vinton, need you guys to help us care for and protect the women and girls in our home and surrounding areas from a business that is as distasteful and dangerous as an abortion facility is. Council, please address any loopholes in our town zoning laws that could allow this business that preys on women or any other business like it to open with inadequate standards of care. If the facility is using our open laws, we need to close those loopholes. Doing the right thing will always cost something. Perhaps, council, you're here for such a time as this. In conclusion, please ask yourself this question. What is the legacy I, as a member of town council, will leave for the women, children, and families you're sworn to serve? Thank you.
Thank you.
The next person I have is Barry Witt.
I'm Barry Witt, 3041 Woodway Road, Roanoke, Virginia. And some years ago, my wife's medical chart said that she was infertile, couldn't have children. You don't know how crushing that was for us. And we prayed, and our church family prayed, and others prayed. We were able to have 4 children by the hand of God, a miracle. And every child is, by the hand of God, a miracle. We saw 2 children here earlier. How precious were they? And think, when people go to this death facility, the children will be wiped out. They won't come back with a child. Now, my understanding of the council is y'all are supposed to be godly people. That's the reputation I've always heard. But we know that just like church people all around, church people can talk big, but when it comes time to really standing for the Lord and really doing what the Lord says, no matter the consequences or the repercussions, that we do and we obey God and we trust Him. And that's what I'm asking you to do. If you truly are what you ran on and godly people, then do the godly thing. And I'd like to pray for you. Precious Almighty God, help each one here, Lord. Fill them with your spirit and your strength. God, we love them. And we thank you for them. They don't have an easy job, Lord. It's most difficult, and we recognize that. But Lord, when the pressure comes, guide them to lead this town into the godly values that it's always stood for. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let me restart this. The next person, I don't know honestly the name. I think it's Joseph. It was Joseph? Okay. What's the last name? I'm sorry.
Pickford.
How do you spell that?
P-I-G-F-O-R-D.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me here tonight. I thank you for letting me speak. I think the preacher just said it all. God makes life. God takes life. No one else has that right. We are people of God, supposedly. And so we believe in the Bible. We believe what it says. And I just have one message, if I had any at all. We don't want to fall into the hands of an angry God. If you let this go on, if you let this building do what it says it's going to do, or what it claims it's going to do, and that is take lives of innocent children, many probably sitting in this room, will fall into the hands of an angry God. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next person I have is Ryan Tunnell.
I'm Ryan Tunnell, 5436 Green Meadow Road, Roanoke, Virginia. I'm also with Love Life. So I want to thank everyone for listening. Not a public speaker, but I'm out at 2nd Street on Wednesdays, and we're there, of course, as we've said, to offer hope and help. And the reality of it is, it's a matter of life and death. And if we didn't believe that, we wouldn't be there. We wouldn't be here. Our message is, to what Jesus said, to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, to love your neighbors yourself. We're not there to tell anyone who's having an abortion that we're better than them, because we're not. The Bible says there are no good people. Jesus said that in Mark 10:18. So everyone needs Christ. Everyone needs a Savior. We're there to communicate that in love and plain language. We're there to offer help at whatever point of need they have financially. If they need to have an adoption, we're there to give them baby showers. Whatever they need, we're there. And just wanted to share with you a brief what I've shared at our prayer walks on Saturdays. It's called The Tragic Truth. If we were all aware that there was an elementary school tomorrow and there was going to be someone there to kill those kids, what would we do about it? And we wouldn't sit here and do nothing about it. We would be there protecting those kids. And, God sees every conception as a person, created in the image of God. Murder is murder, regardless. And we're there just to offer hope and help. So I just respectfully ask that you consider this. And these babies can't speak for themselves. So we're here to speak for them. And, I want to thank you so much for listening. If I could have a word of prayer. Father in heaven, I want to lift up each and every one of these leaders. I want to thank you for them. Lord, you know every need that they have. We pray that they all know you, and if they don't, we lift up their souls, their salvation, because the greatest news is the gospel of Jesus Christ, and we thank you. We thank you for, Lord Jesus, your life you lived that we could never live, your death you died that we deserve, and your resurrection from the dead on the third day. So repentance and faith is what you command for all people to receive eternal life as a free gift. I pray that you give them courage to do what is right before you and trust that you are sovereign. There's nothing impossible for you. Pray all this in Christ's name. Amen. Thank you.
Okay. That's all the speakers that I've signed up for this evening. We appreciate you folks coming. Council, did you want to make any comments?
Go ahead.
Pardon? Oh, yeah. Yeah. You got the timer on, Council.
For you. Oh, Daddy, and let me have the buzzer.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Okay, the timer's off.
Just want to make sure that there's anyone else that.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Anyone else? No. Okay. Council? No?
Yeah, I'll just say, we heard you, and we heard you the last time also. And, I know that staff is working on trying to do whatever we can. However, we can't base it on religion. It has to be based on law. And so we can't change the law based on religion. So we're working to see if there's anything we can do for a loophole with this thing, but we can't just make that happen by signing some papers, or the town gets sued. So, and we don't have a town anymore. So we're doing this by the law, and we're doing everything that we possibly can to try to change this if we can. Appreciate you all being here and your patience. Our attorney is working as hard as he can to try to find a way to, if we can do anything about it. So you're not falling on deaf ears. Again, appreciate you being here and your message that you sent to us today.
Thank you, sir.
Can I just say real quick, I appreciate you coming to speak, and I appreciate the work you're doing, and keep doing it. I'm sure a lot of ladies need to hear that.
Yeah, I too, like the other two council members and the mayor, do want to thank you for coming. I've said this and I'll say this tonight. This is where government is. Government's right here. To the fact that we sit here and get to listen to you. Mr. Lyles said it well, and that is, not to put him on the spot, but he's probably one of the best in the game, and that's our attorney right over there. And that's who we have to refer to, naturally. It's a long process. As you can see, we have a lot of information. We have looked at this issue. Naturally, we understand exactly where every one of you are coming from. Once again, the statement was made listing. We are listing, and we understand 100%. I will close by saying this, and y'all know this, and I don't make this comment by trying to insult you. However, we're in the wrong ball field. And the ball field that we need to play this game in, if we want to, as you very well know, some people don't, is in Richmond. And we've seen the surrounding states, the opportunity in this state arose at one time to where it could have been changed. So naturally, going forward, looking at things going forward, however, the big ball field that we need to be in is the Richmond ball field. And it's a simple vote. House of Representatives, Virginia Senate, and the governor signing it into law. And everything you talk about tonight, you folks that spoke, will go away. Will go away in this state. So once again, I thank you for coming.
Thanks.
I just want to thank you personally for praying. Thank you for praying for us, because we need it. Everybody needs it.
Need it.
And we're in a position right now where we really need it. And so a lot of times when good things happen in an area, bad things come in to try to mess it up. And we are a good group. We're strong. And we will definitely do our best. But please just keep us at the top of the prayer list. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. You said it well. I've had several discussions with council members, and I think we are all of one mind and one heart on this. So we do appreciate your prayers, and I appreciate what you're doing, and we're going to do what we can. That we will promise you, and do what we can. Okay. If there are no further comments, we'll move on to the next item, and that's briefings that we have tonight. By the way, folks, you're certainly welcome to stay, but now we got to do business, so we're not insulted if you leave. So the next item is a briefing I'm looking very much forward to concerning the Vinton Community Park update. Jamie, Mr. Hurd?
Jamie.
Bring us some good news, Jamie.
That's a good look. Yeah. That's a good looking picture right there now.
Yeah, that is.
Good evening to you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council. Been a while since we've talked about the park. I think on our community development panel, we've had some updates there, but nothing formally in front of the council. So thanks for the opportunity to come and kind of give you an update as to where we're at. A little bit of history. I think last time we were talking, we were actually in the process of closing the pool, demoing the pool. That all work is complete now. We have a nice building site up there. Currently, we're working to remove some trees on the site. So if you go up there, you might see some workers cutting down. We have a lot of dead trees and limbs that would pose a hazard for the use that we want to use the the field for. So we're working through that right now, removing those trees. Also, Nathan McClung and myself have been working on our on-call service, professional service contract. We've had that out advertised. We had really good response. A lot of local firms interested in doing business with the town, and we saw that in the way of 27 submissions that Nathan and I have been working through and reviewing. And so that will help us once we are able to contract with the different firms who are qualified. That agreement will be in place, and then we'll utilize that to secure a contract with one of those firms to help us with the site design. So the site design will give us our ADA pathways. It'll locate the equipment that we have selected. You see in the picture here, it'll locate that equipment there on the park, give us an exact location for that. It'll also provide parking lot improvements as well as drainage, a drainage plan. So very important that we get that in place. And then once that's in place, we can move forward with contracting with the contractor to do the site work. Also, over the last several months, I guess Pete and I have been working with the playground manufacturer, the equipment manufacturer, to finalize a plan. And we've had several meetings and several iterations of the design that you see here. And this is what we've settled on. We're very excited about it. I think it accomplishes the goals that we set forth. It's going to be a fun space, and you can see plenty of slides there. I'll just highlight some of the features. Of course, we see some swings up there. The swings are ADA accessible, at least one of them will be. We have several inclusive ADA accommodations for children with different levels of disability. We also, you can kind of see in the middle of the two towers, there's an area there called the Free Notes Botanical Garden. So it looks like flowers, but those are actually musical instruments. So kids will be able to go up and they'll be able to play on those. And that's really for kids of all ages, all abilities. So that's a real fun feature that we have with the park. You can see we have some picnic and shaded areas for the parents to kind of relax and stay out of the sun as their kids play. And so just a lot of really fun. Every time I look at it, I see something that I didn't see before. So just a lot of opportunities for kids to enjoy themselves. I think the highlight for me is all of the slides that we have there. But you can see we've also tried to make in the town, we don't have a Parks and Recreation department, so we've tried to keep that in mind and keep the maintenance to a minimum. And we're doing that in part with the pour-in-place material. It's like a rubberized coating. You may have seen at some other parks. So instead of putting like a wood mulch there or a rubber mulch in there, it'll be a rubberized coating that we won't have to maintain nearly as much as you would if you were keeping up with the mulch. I think we've got a 5-year warranty that comes with that rubberized coating, and then they recommend you recoat that or seal it every 4 years. So that'll help us a lot with the maintenance and kind of keeping that at a minimum. I guess one of the main questions is, when does this happen, right? Everybody wants to know, when are we going to have a playground on the ground? So we're looking at right now, spring is when we'll try to get that equipment installed. Talking with the playground manufacturer, that seems like that might align well with some other discount opportunities. So maybe we can save another $1 or $2. I'm always happy to do that. And then also the pour-in-place. You have to be careful what time of year you pour that as well. So you need to make sure the temperatures are above 50 and above 50 for a consistent amount of time. So it's working out well with our schedule to kind of get that. We can do all these other things, get the plan in place and contract with the contractor to do some of the site work. And hopefully by the time all that's done, we'll be ready for some playground equipment. Looking at budget, we started with approximately $500,000 is kind of where we started. To date, we've spent about $115,000 of that $500,000. The playground equipment The quote currently is right at $435,000 for the equipment, and then that's the pour-in-place material as well. We've also been fortunate enough through Fayola's hard work to receive the grant we've talked about from the Virginia Outdoor Foundation, which is $218,000 of that $500,000. And then we've had the opportunity to, I know we have Chris McCarty here from the Lions Club, always a great partner for the town. They're always willing to kind of chip in and help out. And they've been with us really since the beginning phases of talking through this project, and very excited to be a part of it. So they've also committed to help fund some of the features with the playground. Bank of Botetourt's another one that's kind of partnered with us on the playground. And we have some other opportunities that other local businesses that we'll be contacting and trying to increase the amount of kind of private-public partnerships that we can make to help get this done. So we're getting there, we're getting close, and we're excited about it. Glad to answer any questions you might have on it. I'd love to hear your feedback and what you think of that.
I think it's great. I hope we get a chance to play because we're basically big kids.
Yeah. Well, you can come with us. Jackson's gonna love it.
Yep. It's it's going to be a really great addition to the town. My question is for the ADA swings. Like I've noticed, I take my granddaughter up to the Fishburne Park at Fishburne Elementary, and they have some ADH swings, and one of them's a wheelchair swing. Will this have a wheelchair swing?
This one does not have a wheelchair swing, and it's hard to see the swings up there in the corner, and I think you probably have a printout, maybe even hard to see it there because it's smaller. So it will be a chair where you're actually going to have to move from a mobility device into the swing. Hopefully with the parent there, that's something that can be done. And you can see, I didn't even know the way the swing is kind of arranged, the child sits on one side and then the parent sits directly across, so they can kind of stabilize and help the child with the swing. So it's a different type of swing, one that I've not been familiar with, but I think it's going to serve well. I have seen some of the playgrounds locally that have utilized the swings with the wheelchair accessibility. This one does not.
I think, I'm sorry.
Otherwise, I know in the beginning we talked about it being like I guess a separate, like the smaller kids and then a bigger group. So we're just kind of making it all encompassed and I guess kind of one.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. This playground is designed to serve like the 5 to 12 age range, and then we've just had another playground installed that kind of serves that younger age.
Yeah.
So with that and how nice that turned out, we thought it would be a good idea to kind of focus on this 5 to 12.
Well, I will tell you, if you go, I don't know if you guys, not said before, but my grandson goes, my daughter takes him to the YMCA.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the way it is there. It's, it's not separate, but there's like where you got that little mini slide right there.
Yeah.
They kind of have that, but it's more like what this is. It's got big and little, so I think that's usually the way they do it now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there definitely, it says 5 to 12, but there's definitely features of that playground.
Yeah.
Children much younger, depending on their skills and capabilities, will let the parents decide.
I will tell you that we've been to the playground and stuff, Ben Baptist, and it's great. But just some feedback from what I've heard there, they've heard comments down there that people want this too.
Yeah.
It's great that they've got that, but this will be the next step because they're saying, well, I wish it had this. Well, it's coming.
Yeah, I think they complement or will complement each other very well. Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's going to work well.
Next question is, so this is like phase 1, right?
This is phase 1, yes.
Because we've got a lot of other amenities in this park area as well.
We do, yeah. We have pickleball courts come in, some skate park elements come in, some bathrooms that we'll be installing. So yeah, this is just phase 1.
So I assume we'll be working throughout next summer on the other phases. Is that?
Yeah, we'll we'll definitely incorporate some of the design of phase 2 in phase 1. And Pete and I've talked is things, if you're going to pour concrete, sometimes it makes sense instead of separating that portion out. If we can get it done cheaper, even though it might be a phase 2, maybe we consider, okay, let's maybe spend a little bit of money that in the long term is going to pay off for us because it could cost us twice as much to mobilize a contractor to come back and pour that. Maybe the athletic court doesn't actually go in, but the concrete that the athletic court will be placed on would go in. So,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I think it's a great legacy. I mean, I think it's a legacy that you'll put your fingerprint on, and we will. Naturally, I was involved in that playground at Vinton Baptist, and it's centered around the Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah.
And it serves that purpose for the Boys and Girls Club and does for that part of the community. However, I don't think you can have too many of these. I mean, but I think the biggest thing about this is that once it's complete, we offer parents the opportunity to go play pickleball and offer their kids the opportunity to go play in the playground and then the other amenities. So yeah, I think it's one of the best things I've seen since I've been on council, and it'll be a great legacy that you'll leave. So yes.
Well, I appreciate your support and opportunity to do it. It is a fun project. One of the most fun that I've done so far.
Good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's definitely exciting. I can see the smile on your face there, Jamie. I know you're enjoying it.
Yeah, I'm hoping I'll fit down one of those slides. We'll see.
I thought maybe you were going to play the musical instrument there.
I definitely could do some.
That's what we could do.
Well, a lot of times those sign regulations has got requirements for it, but you can't. But anyway, you get down and go at it.
All right. Well, Jamie, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank
I
you.
assume you'll keep us informed.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good job. Okay, so we have another briefing. This is on proposed amendments to the Vinton zoning ordinance. And Nathan McClung. How are you, Nathan?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council.
Yes, sir.
So I have two items to be briefed on tonight. Tony, do you want to start the timer over again? The Plan Commission was briefed on, or actually we held the Plan Commission public hearing here last night, and both of these items were voted and for recommendation 5-0 on the vote. The public hearing will be taking place July 16th for both these items. So the first item is zoning amendment recommendations. So the ordinance as it is now in 2022, after a 3-year effort with the Plan Commission and Town Council, was adopted. Once an ordinance is passed, it's good to go back to it, review it, update it, and you really start to find things to update and amend when you're going through site plan review processes, or you interact with businesses, or you start finding nuanced things that could be altered or changed. So the packet, the staff report is in the agenda packet, but I'm just going to give a brief synopsis of the sections that we're proposing to be changed and proposed amendments. So if you remember, in 2022, we added a new use category to our zoning ordinance called an alternative financial institution. An alternative financial institution, the definition includes different kind of uses, including check cashing establishments as a primary use, motor vehicle title lenders, payday lenders, or precious metal dealers. So any kind of business that engages in those kind of practices, an example would be like a payday lender or check cashing, or places that buy gold or other precious metals for profit. They're put in that category. Previously in 2022, we only had that use requiring a special use permit in our downtown area, our central business district. But in general business, it was permitted by right. As we reviewed the ordinance and we looked at economic patterns, market trends in the valley and as a town, and we looked at the intent of the GB zoning district versus CB, with retail being a component and different commercial uses being a component, we think it's a good idea. We recommend to actually expand the special use requirement to general business, so it would be, in essence, town-wide, all commercial districts, if that zoning category would require a special use permit. And if there's any questions as I'm going through each item, you can feel free to ask them. You don't have to wait till the end. The next, this is a long-standing category that's been around for a few decades. This wasn't a result of the previous 2022 update, so it has more history. But personal service business, and the definition includes an establishment or place of business that provides a service directly to a person. It's pretty broad, but there's a lot of different businesses that would be included in that category. Just example, a tailor or dress shop, clothing rental store, photographic studio, tattoo parlor, martial arts instruction, fitness center, health spa, tanning salon, anything that's really involving people. In that capacity, it falls under the definition. However, in our RB residential business district, we've always required a special use permit for that category. However, when we looked at our ordinance, and you look through our ordinance, there's actually more intensive uses that are permitted by right in RB they're more intensive than what would be classified as a personal service business. For example, a bank would be allowed by right in RB. A medical office like a dentist or a doctor's office would be allowed by right. But in terms of like traffic impact and different development impacts, they don't cause any more types of traffic, personnel, noise, lighting, sound. They don't cause any more development impact than a personal service business. So we're actually recommending for the personal service business to be allowed by right in the RB zoning district. The next regulation, we added vehicle storage and impoundment lots as a use in 2022, but one thing there's only 3 of those uses, or 3 establishments in the town of Vinton right now that's considered like a vehicle impoundment lot. But if you notice, or if you know what the properties they are, none of them have structures. And when you don't have a structure, or when you propose to have that use and you don't have to submit a site plan, when it comes to the setbacks, there was no language in the supplemental section that would address how far back the use, whether it be like the fence that screens it from the right of way, or the cars being parked. They have to have fencing regardless, that's the fence really. But how far back the use or any kind of things related to the use, how far it would have to be set back from property lines and how far it would have to be set back from the public right of way. So we recommended a setback of 10 feet from the front property line, or from the frontage, and then 5 feet from the perimeter. And that's actually in line with all of our other motor vehicle related uses, such as used car lots, new car lots. So we wanted to have consistency, but also wanted to make sure that there was a setback, as all other developments and all other uses had. This one just didn't have that language in there. At the time, it wasn't a supplemental regulation that was thought of. The next is this is actually more of a maintenance item for how to navigate the zoning code. We're not proposing any changes to swimming pools, tennis or pickleball courts in residential or commercial. But currently in the ordinance, there's some navigation with how to navigate the setbacks and the requirement for it to be behind the front building line of the property. So rather than having to navigate the ordinance to find all the regulations that are currently in place, and they have been in place since 2022, we're just adding the language in that one section. So if you are just focusing on a pool, tennis, or pickleball, we did add pickleball court, so because that's a new trend, and we don't want there to be confusion between the difference in a tennis and a pickleball court. But most of the time this comes up with swimming pools. When someone wants a swimming pool or a hot tub in their property, it has to be behind the front building line and meet certain setbacks. So it puts all the language in that one code section, so you don't have to navigate 3 or 4 sections of the ordinance just to find the answer. So it's nothing new, it's just making it more clear. For the landscaping ordinance, we passed a canopy coverage requirement in 2022 concerning how much of a property or how much of a development would have to have canopy coverage with the planting of trees. This is typically for new construction or additions that require a site plan. And once again, you find these things out as you administer them, but during certain site plan reviews, we tie the limits of construction to the limits of disturbance, which has to do with erosion and sediment and grading. But when a property's limits of disturbance is way larger than than where the actual improvement or actual development is, the rule was still being applied. So we actually added language for modifying it. So it gives the zoning administrator the ability to reduce the limits of construction definition to still achieve the intent of the landscaping ordinance, but not to be so intrusive or to be so extensive as to burden a developer or a property owner with a requirement that doesn't really achieve what we were trying to do with the canopy coverage, buffering or screening or any other kind of use. This came about with W. Cundiff with their new addition to the school. Their limits of disturbance was 10 acres. So you think about 10% of 10 acres, that's a lot of trees. So having the ability to reduce that scope just to where the new parking lot area is going to be and the new building addition, it made it more reasonable for where they need to place them, not where they're going to grade out just to help with stormwater. But that's just one example. And additionally, in the landscaping ordinance, the requirement of street trees is currently in the ordinance, but if you read it by the letter of the law, it would seem that street trees will only require between a new parking lot, and the public right-of-way. The intent of the ordinance was that between a new development and the right-of-way, and we used the town of Blacksburg as the model. So we went back to the town of Blacksburg code and pulled the language here, so it's clear that it doesn't have to be a parking lot. It could be a new building. Because if someone puts a parking lot behind the building, then there's still the requirement for street trees. Speaking of parking, we originally proposed the maximum motor vehicle parking requirements to help with stormwater so that we don't have massive deserts of asphalt for like a shopping center. However, in administering this code, we have found that when you have a maximum parking requirement, which ours is 150% of a minimum, and you have a minimum parking as well, you really can't have both. You need to have one or the other. So we're not proposing to remove the minimum. So if you're a new business, you need 4 or 5 parking spaces, and that's just a good zoning practice. But the maximum was becoming a burden for certain projects, or becoming a really narrow target that's hard to actually in real life when you're designing a site plan as an engineer to hit. So we're actually going to propose to remove the maximum motor vehicle parking requirements entirely. It doesn't, even though the intent was to help with stormwater, another reason why there's not going to be too much heartburn over removing these requirements from a stormwater lens is that Roanoke County is already our VSMP administrator. So a new development already has to meet certain quality standards, quantity standards. That's completely outside the zoning code. So they're already having to address environmental impacts. So us having certain parking requirements isn't going to mitigate that any further. It could in the future. We possibly might be able to come back to this, but what was currently in the code, it wasn't achieving what we wanted from a stormwater lens. So we're proposing all the maximum motor vehicle parking requirements to be eliminated. And then finally,
think about River Park, and how many parking spaces they have. Have you ever seen it full?
Nope.
Right. So I think this is a good.
That's the whole point, right? Yeah.
And that was the original intent, was to avoid future situations where you have something like a development like that.
Yeah.
And so us by removing that, we are opening the door for that to happen again. But once again, we keep this into consideration. How much land area is left in the town to develop into a massive commercial development like that? Yeah. Plus, if someone wanted to develop, we'd welcome a large development or new town center, but they would have to meet quality standards from the stormwater ordinance anyway. So. Something we definitely want to, actually one of our planning commission members recommended we go back to that and look at certain maximums, but with different code language and a different strategy to help small businesses, help lots that are smaller, but to try, the main focus is trying to mitigate large unused shopping center parking lots or other developments. The final change was proposing to change the flea market definition in our ordinance. It was leading to some confusion, and it got really into the weeds with semantics. Zoning shouldn't be about themes and words and what comes to mind when you hear something. It should be about the functionality and the actual operations of the business. So the definition cleared up what is a flea market. market. But additionally, we added language, now it says flea or vendor market. So in that same category, as is what being proposed with the special use permit that I'm going to be briefing on next, it could be considered a vendor market. You still need a special use permit. It doesn't change that requirement, but it does make the definition more clearly about what the town views as a vendor market or flea market, because the definition wasn't really clear previously. But those are the zoning amendment changes that are being proposed by town staff. Any of your questions?
Nelson? I guess you've been through this a couple of times, haven't you? Yeah. Well, thank you, Nathan. There's a lot of information there, so appreciate it. And it's good to know you guys are really taking a close look, because that's important stuff, that affects our community. So, yeah. Thank you. You got the next one too, right?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
So the flea market is a good segue because...
Excuse me, I'm sorry. I kind of jumped the gun. You guys have any other questions or comments? Sorry about that.
So we have a special use permit request by the Advancement Foundation. They request a special use permit for a proposed flea market use or vendor market use, which is a use permitted by special use permit in the Central Business District, subject to the approval of Vinton Town Council. So this is located at 301 South Pollard Street, Suite A, and a special note when the actual resolution is drafted for the public hearing on July 16th, it does straddle two parcels. So it's on two different parcels. The building, there's a parcel that cuts straight through the building, but they do intend on using the full suite. The Advanced Foundation is the current property owner, but the operator will actually be the farm shop operated by Brandon Hall. But the applicant of this and the owner of the property is the Advanced Foundation. The staff report covers the existing conditions. Most of the previous uses of this building, and even historically as a commercial building, have been it has been used for retail. So in 2020, it was a business incubator space, the Innovation Mill, which they want this used to be some form of an incubator, but not in the same way that the Innovation Mill was. And it'll be more of like for retail uses where a business can rent out booths within the establishment. I'll let the petitioner speak to that on July 16. After 2020, the hemp mill moved in and sold hemp products, and actually currently, if you drive by the building, the farm shop occupies the space, but it only occupies it as a retail establishment. It doesn't have booths, and what would put it in the category as a flea market or vendor market. They're currently operating under a zoning permit as a retail establishment. So going through the comprehensive plan, the current 2004 comprehensive plan designates the property and surrounding properties as a retail service commercial land use area, which this would be fall in the category of retail. And based on staff analysis and conclusion, the proposed use is consistent with the general characteristics of the downtown area and the intent of the Central Business District. However, the final thing I want to say is that we do, in order to mitigate potential impacts, and council can propose to request or council can impose any conditions that are reasonably necessary to ensure that the use will be compatible with the surrounding area and consistent with the ordinances and reduce impacts to the neighboring properties and the downtown area. But the town staff do recommend two conditions to be attached to this request if approved. The first is the use shall only be permitted within the footprint of the structure currently designated as Suite A, and an additional special use permit will be required to expand the use into other areas contained within the structure. We just added that for clarity so that they're only going to be within Suite A. There's apartments above, and also there's the pawn shop at Suite B. But in order to expand the use into other parts of the building, they would need to come back to. And that's actually a code requirement, but we wanted it clear in the conditions. Secondly, all the activities related to the use will occur within the enclosed structure and inside that footprint. So no transactions or tables and booths will be outside of the wall of the building. So everything will be within the structure and contained within the structure. It's a complete indoor use. However, this won't prevent them from being able to display their merchandise outside the building, but only facing South Pollard, not East Jackson. They do have some private property and private parking spaces on East Jackson, but they can display their merchandise in accordance with the current zoning ordinance. But we want to make sure to add that, because if you consider a display as a use of the property, then it would preclude them from that. But we wanted to make sure they could still display their merchandise, just like any other business downtown that might have things on the sidewalk, as long as they don't impede the sidewalk or block ADA accessibility. So those are the only two conditions that we were proposing with this use. But with that concludes the staff report briefing.
Thank you.
Council, I do have a comment. My only concern at all is the outdoor display, because that sidewalk is, in my opinion, somewhat hindered already because of an awning that's there. So I think that that's something that should be monitored, because we would not want to impede pedestrian traffic along that sidewalk, so.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's difficult to know where the property line is, because it may be like a few feet off the building frontage, but making sure, there's a column with that awning, but making sure that the ADA rule is 4 feet for clearance for like wheelchairs.
Right.
Making sure that, and the code states this, like the current zoning code for outdoor display, it has to be up against the building, and then and also provide a pedestrian path. But town staff will be sure that we between that column and any kind of merchandise, it's still maintained from 4 feet, regardless if it's public right of way or private property. It doesn't designate in the code whether right of way, private property. These rules apply to private property as well. So we'll make sure it's monitored.
Right. I'm sure you guys are aware of that situation, and we'll monitor, because like I say, if people, because the awning is there, and if they step out into the street, if there's no, or if a car is attempting to park there or something, it could get a little tricky. So as long as there's room, the 4 feet is there, then I'm good.
Yeah, and those poles definitely have definitely cause impediments and issues.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll make sure it's monitored.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Comments, questions?
Just a comment. Like, I like the, I said last night that the vendor market, vendor market versus flea market, I like that. And flea markets, I can guarantee you that my 92-year-old uncle would come with his truck packed full. Thinking it's flea market. It isn't that. So, good point. Vendor market versus flea market.
Yeah. Good point. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan.
Thank you, sir. Good job. Thank you. All right. With that, we'll move on to the items that will require action tonight. And Mr. Town Manager, looks like you're going to do the first resolution.
Yes, sir. I have several tonight. Before I get started, I want to recognize Barry and Andy and Jason with Twin Creeks Brewing Company. They're going to be directly involved in a few of these transactions, and so they are here to answer any questions you may have.
Yeah, I just got the name, but it's not like in order. It's
So I do have before you this evening a resolution to authorize the town to forgive there's actually 2 loans with Twin Creeks, and I'll save you the abbreviations there, but in 2016 and 2019, the town did enter in 2 different loans with Twin Creeks to assist them with the growth of their business, which we're extremely fortunate to have them in town. And a lot of the activity that we have been successful over the last 7 or 8 years has been largely responsible by these guys coming to town first and kind of setting the expectation that it's possible in Benton. the original $100,000 revolving loan program was actually a part of our community development block grant from DHCD. Which it dates back to 2014. We had a 5-year requirement with DHCD to maintain this loan. And early on in the CDBGD process, we had several applicants, most of which were tied to the original project itself. Even dating back to Bruce Mayer serving on that downtown management team who actually helped us achieve that grant and was a recipient himself of several loans, including kind of the precedent of what set where Twin Creeks is now. So at Twin Creeks, we've been having some conversations, and over the years, we have a lot of conversations, but about the last 6 months or so, we have started having some conversations about their next set of alterations and growth plans, as town has changed quite a bit since they established in downtown Benton, and so we have, other entertainment options and concerts and food options. So, trying to keep up with what's going on, kind of set some separation from some of the other activities in town. So as you can tell, they've done a lot in the rear of the property with the creek bank, the performance stage, but also right up against the building and expanding that outdoor patio. So they had approached the town about doing another incentive grant and potentially another loan. And so through our conversations, and we've been having some conversations with council about dissolving the loan program because since 2019, we have not been successful in issuing the loan. And we actually spoke to a couple of our local banks about overseeing that program because we're not bankers and we had met our obligation with DHCD. So one thing led to another, and rather than give them another loan, one of the options was, well, we could forgive what their balance is on the current 2 loans, and it would work in a very similar manner to incentivize what their next development plans are. So this relates to the performance agreement that will be discussed in a minute, but in particular, we have an agreement for 2 loans with the brewery, and I'm proposing that we dissolve those 2 loans in a total of $10,069.60. And the specifics are in your agenda packet. I'd be happy to answer any questions. And like I said, the proprietors of the establishment are here and would be happy to answer some as well.
Okay, thank you, sir. Council, you have any questions, comments? We do appreciate you guys being here, by the way, just in case there are questions. So if there are no questions, then we will entertain a motion for the resolution that the town manager has described.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Council Member Lyles, second by Vice Mayor Stovall. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Lyles?
Yes.
Councilmember McCarty?
Yes.
Councilmember Mullins?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stovall?
Yes.
Mayor Gross?
Yes.
And just very, very quickly, the next item is actually to dissolve the revolving loan program. As I said, they were their only 2 current loans that were outstanding. And so the idea is to convert that original $100,000 into grant programs, which we feel in our conversations with our local downtown businesses and prospective new businesses, what is more needed than loans. Banks provide loans. What they're looking for is smaller grants that would help them renovate a property, get open for business, acquire capital, inventory, that sort of things are bigger needs. So we feel like that $100,000, which was a part of the original program, once we met that 5-year obligation, we could take that $100,000 and put it into other programs so that we saw the most need. And so, back then it was loans. Now we feel like the grant programs are more beneficial to what our needs are for downtown. So I do have a resolution before you this evening to dissolve that revolving loan program. And then we'll take a further action later on to actually convert those funds into an acceptable grant program.
Excuse me.
Or disperse them through other performance agreements.
Okay. Sounds great. Folks, you've heard the explanation there. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Council Member McCarty, a second by Council Member Mullins. Before we vote, if I can just briefly, I just want to comment about one thing. You're right, Pete, all that stuff is kind of old. I guess that's a relative term, isn't it? But I don't know if I want to go there. But it's been around a while. But I'd just like to point out how successful it has been. Like you mentioned, as part of the VHDC grant, and I believe that was even part of community block grant funding originally.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, we sometimes wonder about government programs and where our tax money goes. Well, that's a great example, because it's really successful. That original grant of $750,000 has done a lot for our downtown, and it's done a lot to get businesses started. And we appreciate you guys because, like Pete said, y'all kind of got the ball rolling. That was awesome. But that whole program was really huge for this town.
It's turned over multiple times. With that original $750,000 grant, it's turned over time after time. So
yes, sir.
Still paying benefits for us.
You betcha. I really think it was important to kind of get the momentum started and everything. It's really important for this town and just really something we should brag about. So I'm really happy that this thing has worked out this well. But it is, I guess, time to move on to a new set of procedures with this money. So I think we had a first and a second. Mm-hmm. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Lyles?
Yes.
Councilmember McCarty?
Yes.
Councilmember Mullins?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stovall?
Yes.
Mayor Gross?
Yes. Thank you.
Well, thirdly, I have a performance agreement with MVGA, which is actually Mr. Barry Robertson there, the owner of the location where Twin Creeks is located. So as a part of those discussions, a performance agreement was put forward to the town, in part a new loan, but also some grant funding to assist with not only their current renovations, but what they have planned next. A lot of what we've done in the town is incentivize place. We have created property that was able to house businesses that produce jobs and revenue in places of entertainment. This is exactly what we're investing in this particular situation. We're investing in the building. We're investing in them, our partners, the brewing company, putting together a nice, attractive environment for visitors and our own residents. And that drives our economy. So the forgiveness of the loan, but also some additional grant funding, as I mentioned, that seems to be kind of where things are right now. To create space, it's hard to derive revenue directly back from the space, but that makes it attractive for the visitors and the customers to participate. And that's kind of what we've heard even in our most recent comprehensive plan work so far is investing that in attractive space. So this particular performance agreement talks about the revolving loan, but it talks about the cash that will be given to them in the form of a grant. This is a three-way agreement that's between the town, let me get this initials right, MVGA, and the Roanoke County Economic Development Authority. So we have yet to take action on that third leg of the agreement. That will come in August at the next EDA meeting. So we're going to preemptively take action with council hopefully this evening, and then we'll present that to the EDA because there is a pass-through mechanism through the EDA for grant money as such. So I respectfully would like you to consider the resolution to authorize the performance agreement. Thankfully, with the good work of our attorney, we've been navigating through these agreements, and so the total. I just want to say that the total agreement is valued at just over $40,000. There is a slight error in the cover sheet that I didn't catch, but between the grant funding and the forgiveness of the loan, there is a cap to that. So I'd be happy to answer any questions again. The gentlemen are here with us tonight, so I probably butchered that whole presentation, but I think you get the gist of it.
Pearsmith.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Jeremy, do you need to bail him out here?
No, he did fine. Well, he put it much simpler.
We're giving them money and they're investing in their property.
All right.
Well, in all the cases of the previous performance agreements, we've had a temple that's been successful. We've invested in buildings, and they stay in the town. You know, they're creating generational properties that they can house businesses and produce revenue for the town.
Generate tax revenue is what.
Right. So this helps them and helps us certainly, but it is certainly a good investment, has proven to be a good investment. You know, I'm running out of fingers. I can count the number of projects that we've done this on and it's worked. Yeah. And there's more to come. There is some momentum and we'd like to continue that. So this is just another example of that, and appreciate their partnership in this.
Yeah, you betcha. Council, any comments, questions?
No, well, first off, I think you've accomplished what I wanted to see. And, I mean, I'm not that deep to some of the types of beer y'all make, but I can tell you one thing. I'm in a duck hunting group, and there's about 12 of them that stay tuned to what y'all make, and they love it. They love the back. And the other thing, and I'll play off what Mr. Lyles has said, and that is the fact of, I think, also one of the things you're doing, because my family's from Bedford County, is that you're stopping people coming west from going to the city and to Salem. Mm-hmm. And actually, a lot of people like Parkway, but however, they're leaving Parkway and then coming to your place a lot of times for the music. And then, of course, bringing them there, and then, of course, National 107 and Pokey Joe's. So, yes, off of what Mr. Peters said, I think you're accomplishing exactly what we want you to accomplish, and you're spending, which we definitely want you to do, and want everybody to do, the taxpayers' dollars well. Yeah. And that's what we can ask for.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. Anyone else?
Yeah. You know, it seems like a long time ago, but it really wasn't, that, you know, you guys opened up, and it was a really exciting time. It did catapult our downtown. You know, back, a lot of people have been here their whole life. You know, you were the first, like, cool bar. I mean, now it depends on, right, you know, what definition of a cool bar you think. Now, Swan, to some people, was a cool bar. Blue Room. Yeah, our place was a cool bar, but some people, you're more of a family oriented also type, and it's a cool bar. I know you guys have overcome a lot of obstacles, especially, like, you know, acquiring the land that you did, and then having to jump through a lot of ABC hoops, and you just keep going. And that's what's really cool about, you know, your establishment. And yeah, you are the granddaddies of, and you probably are granddaddies, but you're the granddaddies of downtown. Whoa. You know,
we're big on age tonight.
Yeah, really.
But yeah, you guys were the first, and a lot of people have followed you guys. So thank you for picking Vinton to just start your brewery, and it's really done wonders for us.
Yeah, been good. Anyone else? Well, just briefly, thank you guys. Y'all been great partners. I'm just really excited that town of Vinton is in a position where we can offer some help, and we have the staff that knows how to pull it off, so that's always important too. And I think we as a town have developed a reputation of being cooperative and anxious to help. And you guys have done a good job of spreading the word, by the way. We appreciate that, so thank you guys. Okay, I guess we still got to vote on this, right? Is there a motion for the resolution just described by our town manager?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
So we have a motion by Councilmember McCarty, second by Councilmember Lyles. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Lyles?
Yes.
Councilmember McCarty?
Yes.
Councilmember Mullins?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stovall?
Yes.
Mayor Gross?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I know we all feel the same way. First, during COVID, if it wasn't for Ben, we still would have made it through it. And now with this generous gift, and that's really what it is, a gift. We appreciate it. We'll be able to thank you. So thank you for being in the business.
Awesome. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's been a good partnership.
It has.
Okay, one more, right, Pete?
Yes, I'll try not to ruin this one.
No, you did fine. You did fine.
I have a resolution before you this evening to, I guess, certify the closing of the town offices on Friday, July 5th. As you all know, many of our employees, I'd say majority of our employees will be working on the traditional town holiday of July 4th. And so, and we enjoy it. That's certainly not a burden for us. We enjoy making people smile, and those are pretty great events. Helping out the Boys and Girls Club, but obviously helping out some downtown businesses here, and then the Independence Day celebration that evening. So it's a joy to do. But I appreciate your gesture of all considering the town staff and allowing us to take Friday off, because that will, for most of us, non-essential employees, a lot of our police department and some of our public works staff will yet still come in on Friday and do their job. So we appreciate them more than they can ever imagine. But I do want to ask for your respectful authorization of this resolution to close on Friday, July 5th.
So moved.
Absolutely, I'll second.
Third.
Fourth.
I think we're all in favor of this one, right?
I'll call the roll.
Yeah, call the roll.
Yeah.
Do a voice vote if you like.
We'll do a voice vote.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Yes. Yes.
All opposed?
Everyone votes for that one, yes.
That is it. Thank you.
All right, thanks. We don't stand on tradition here too much, do we, Jeremy? We got through it. Always good.
That's okay. You don't always have to, and that's you don't necessarily have to.
Thank you, Jeremy, and thank you for being here. We can always count on you to have a spiffy ties and to keep us out of trouble, right?
Do my best.
I didn't send a text. Sorry.
I didn't get the Hawaiian shirt.
I was looking at it thinking, I just feel so comfortable. I got two of these. I just feel so comfortable in them. And
And he's sort of patriotic.
we have no shoes on.
That's already left. Maybe we ought to have a Twin Creeks night. We all wear
I thought you were going to that's me open on council.
Yes, are they open?
We don't have a Twin Creeks night. We'll just meet at Twin Creeks while I come here.
Okay.
Be the custodian.
So we took care of that one while you were going.
It was
Stovall.
and Mullins, and then your name. It was a voice vote.
Okay, so Stovall, Cardi.
We all said yes.
Then we already did.
Oh, well, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
Good to go.
And sir, I just have a few quick updates. I won't belabor this, but Niagara Road, there's a portion of Niagara Road that's been reopened. That was where the Western Virginia Water Authority had temporarily closed down. They have set up a temporary line outside of the public right of way. They have compacted that stone. They have yet to pave it, but they are intended to allow that to be compacted by some traffic. We still unfortunately have our stormwater piece closer to Wyndham closed. We had started work on that, but because of some priority projects on Mountain View to keep up the timeline with the paving, we had several stormwater pipes failed there. So our one crew that's capable of doing that type of work had to be pulled for those two instances at Mountain View. So we were able to keep that project on task, and we were able to get Mountain View obviously done, but Niagara Road has kind of taking a little bit of a back burner. Our crews do anticipate being back there Monday and should be finished sometime middle of the week. So we'll have Niagara fully reopened. The reason why we can't attend to Niagara this week is because, again, we've talked about it a little bit. We don't have a Parks and Rec department. And a lot of our public works employees are responsible for setup for our events on Thursday. So we're running 2 trash crews today and tomorrow to prepare for Thursday and Friday's closure. And then our public works crews are out delivering road closure signs, street fencing and barricades. And a lot of preparation. Most folks don't know, I mean, they see the fireworks and they see the 4th of July race, but all the work that goes in. So it takes multiple days to prepare for that. And then they're coming in for a good portion of the day on Friday, even though you've graciously provided that. They'll be cleaning that up on Friday morning. And, you know, as I always do, we can barely tell we've had an event in town after we've had tens of 15,000 people in our community. So, lastly, Mountain View Road, I traveled that this afternoon. I'm sure Mike came that way. I think we're essentially done with paving. There was just a little leg that they were working on when I came through at 3:30.
So these two guys got white hats on, standing right outside my driveway. Remember I talked about after it was paved and the gas company and all that. So I'm standing there and the guy, that when they broke that storm drain, the guy was looking at that to make sure it was good. So the guy comes up, "How you doing?" It's good. He said, "You going left?" I said, "I am." I said, "You know that guy standing right there in the middle of that street, that saw in his hand?" He said, "I do. I'm going to run over him when I get down there." He said, "Why's that?" I said, "Is he getting ready to cut that pavement?" And he said, "I don't think so." I said, "Well, I'm on council." I said, "The other council member lives behind me." And he said, "Let me go check." So he met me down there and he said, "No, I got to shave. They had to shave the side of it." But anyway.
Well, the Public Works staff has done a remarkable job of being responsive. I know they worked on Juneteenth, quite a long day to make a stormwater repair. The contractors have done, pretty well. It's been difficult conditions. It's been the hottest couple of weeks we could have asked for and dry. So it has made it some difficult conditions to work in with dust and heat.
I think we said, let's hope it doesn't rain while they're doing that.
Well,
who knew? It was kind of our fault.
Brenda made a great comment on Saturday, and that was the fact of, I've watched I Love Benton and the End Benton, and I hadn't seen, just a couple people have commented about the dust, but I haven't seen really, as far as the complaining is concerned.
Yeah, most of the calls that we've gotten has not been the commuters, it's the folks that live directly on the route that are, their homes face the construction.
Yeah. And people like to speed on new pavement, don't they?
I will say that the paving was supposed to be completed today, but the striping probably won't take place till next week. They did put the temporary markers down just to kind of provide the delineation of the lane. So, but just if you got to ask, are we going to stripe it? We are. That contracting crew will come in later next week and finish that project. But for a complicated project as it was, it has went extremely well. We've had some hiccups, but that was expected. So, thank you for your support to get that project done. And hopefully you don't have to worry about it for the next 30 years. So,
Yeah.
paving job.
Let's hope not. I can't tell you how happy I am to hear that. That's a really good news.
Maybe we should have gone and put our handprints in it somewhere.
Yeah, no kidding. Our initials.
Like a brick.
Yeah, really.
That's all I have.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Okay. Jeremy, I kind of jumped over what we were talking about. I assume you didn't have anything else.
Busy.
Yeah, exactly. Keeping it straight. All right. Council, I'll turn it over to you. Vice Mayor, you have anything further?
I don't, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Pam?
No, I'm still
you're good?
processing all we've heard tonight.
I know. We got a lot of information, didn't we? Yeah.
I'm good.
Okay.
Yep. Happy 4th of July, everyone. I hope everybody has a safe 4th of July and comes through the fireworks, and also keep your furry family members safe.
That's right.
Yeah, you betcha. Yeah. Well, we like you said, look forward to seeing everyone on the 4th. Sounds like it's going to be a good time. Right? Yeah. Mandy's got everything lined up. I really like the way she has things going. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for the email, by the way, about
Right.
the family.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Thank you very much for that.
Right. Chris, did you get to say everything you wanted to?
I'll get back.
All right. Well, I won't belabor it. Did anything further come before council?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Favor signify by leaving. Thank you, folks. God bless.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Dan.
The,
See y'all tomorrow.
There we go.